cut up something. Here we need to change something, and so on. So let's look now to the systems in politics. Also, political systems. First of all, every political system has a law system, but there are generally two really main difference. That's between common law and civil law. So there is a lot to say about that. So I'm not a lawyer, but just to help you a bit to understand, and then you can do your research in your country. Are you coming from a common law or are you coming from a civil law? I think Burkina Faso has civil law and so on, because French colonies and so have civil. As a civil law is in continental Europe, also France, and South America has mainly the civil law. And the legislative, also here in the civil law is the difference. The legislative is the only source of making law, like in Switzerland. Only the legislative, and then there is no law, you cannot appeal to something, or you cannot excuse somebody, because before you can excuse someone, we need a law. I mean, in Switzerland, the problem with this suicide of elderly people, the problem is people came to Switzerland to kill themselves, because there was no law here. You can believe it's wrong, but when there is no law, there will be no against it. So we cannot appeal against them. So first, in a civil law, you have to create a law that you can say it would be different in a common law system. So another one, also it comes from the Roman law. We saw already the 12 law tablets, Corpus Iuris Civilis, and from the canon system of the Catholic Church. So we didn't go to history, but just I mentioned that here. It mainly get developed through the French Revolution through Napoleon, and it's called the Code Civil in 1804. And there is a split between a public and a private law. And this is also different between the other system. Also, we can say the civil law protects the public or the law. So because you always, when you do something, there is a law that you are against the law. So in a common law system is different. Mostly of the common world has the common law, also from the English Empire. So where the colonies of England mostly have the common law, like America and so on, India and so on. But you have to research by yourself exactly. I don't know everybody, but England, US is the famous one. Good. The decisions of the court became the law. Can you see the difference? So actually, the parliament in a law is just to make sure about the budget, about that the government is doing right, and of course they create law. But in the end, it's the Supreme Court who can make a law. In case America, we hear the most about America. So I mean, recently they have in the Supreme Court decided that abortion is not a human right. So therefore, it's not in the national constitution. So that every state have to decide by themselves. But the activists, they see that as a human right and want to have this in the constitution. This would not go that in Switzerland that the Supreme Court would decide something. So they only can decide what is in the law, but they cannot make a law. So they decided now the constitution forbid that, don't give this right, therefore we not make a law. The law is, they abolished the law that previous was done or so. Yeah, it's a bit more complicated. but actually the Supreme Court, they make the law. And when they say there's a case full, then next time when there is accusation, they go back to what they decide, what the judges decided the last time. Yeah, it's coming from the English king, because the king made the laws, and therefore he did. And it's not coming from the parliament who created the law, like it was then coming from Romans or from the church, or then later from the French Revolution or Napoleon. But there is a possibility then to change the law, the overruling, but the general case is the source of the judges. So they can every time judge it. This would not be possible in a civil law society. And the common law protects the citizens. You see, the civil law protects the law itself or the state, and here they protect the citizens. It means you can also, in America, so typically what we say in America, there are stupid cases, like one is that somebody threw in the car with a coffee from McDonald's, and then he threw the hot coffee over his pan, and then he made an accident. And in the end, he excused McDonald's that they made the coffee too hot. Or, I mean, it's stupid. That's stupid. Or it's just because self-responsibility would be the case. This would never be possible in Switzerland or in other civil law countries, but it would be in a common law, because in a common law you can then excuse somebody, and actually then the McDonald's have to prove that they did everything in a legal way. So you can excuse every stupid thing, and then they won't have to make sure that it is not against it. And so the lawyers they look on social media what's happened, and then they see something happen, then call them, because this is their business. So they're calling people, look for people where they can excuse a company or something, and with this they make a lot of money. But the common law leaves this a bit open, so you don't need the law. You can excuse somebody when you think it's unfair, and then the other have to prove it. In a civil law, it's different. You cannot excuse somebody when there is no law. So first, when there is no law for that, then you cannot just say McDonald's make the coffee too hot. Or so then you have to prove that there is a law who would forbid McDonald's can do that. So you see, it's different. But of course, with the time, more law are done by common law, and they have also a lot of law. And here in our cases, there is also a lot of lawyers who always try to find a way. And in the end, the difference is no more so big as it was 100 years ago. But it comes closer and closer, both systems come a bit closer and closer. But this is one thing that you can observe in your country, how this court system is functioning. And when you are a lawyer, then it's better to be a lawyer in America than in Switzerland. You can do a lot more money there.
In India also you can do pretty good when you're a lawyer.
Also, I don't say it's morally correct, but it's the work.
So, a lot of money.
Now coming to politics. Politics is divided. Mainly you can divide that in two directions. One direction is here. Liberal, you see that, liberal and conservative. And on the other side you have left and right. And this is here in German, because it's a bit confusing now. But this is my party. My part where I am. And all the points are in the election of 2019. So all members who were in the election are the points. And you can see now, because they did the research, and according to the research, you can find out, are you more left, are you more right, are you more conservative, are you more liberal? And so you can see me, that's me, where the arrow points, that's me. So I am conservative and right. But we have also from the party really, really close to the left side. So, but this research, so I can just open the internet page if you want to see that. So when there is an election in Switzerland, so you can, as one who is in the election, you can make your profile. You have to answer such question. It's not opening. What do you see? No, okay. We leave that out. But this is on the internet. Then you can answer all the questions that they ask you, and then you will get this picture. So in your party, you are idiot. So, and when you are not a candidate, so everybody who's voting can then also do that, and then they see how much you fit to one of the candidates. And here you see in another election, 2019, I did it as well and looked to which person I fit the best. I did it as a candidate and I did it as a non-candidate. So you see the green one, that's mine, spider map, and the other is this Hans Kipfer. So and here in this we have more distinction than just left and right, and so we have this law and order. It's this one is law and order, and then we have finance, politics, we have liberal society, we have open foreign affair, and then liberal humans, liberal, and then social care, and so, and the last one is then for creation care. So, and on this you see, and so what we can do then in Switzerland, it's really interesting. Before you vote, you can do that, and then you see which candidate would fit the best to you. So how much this is manipulated, I don't know. I don't see behind it. I hope it's okay, but this makes a lot of, because then you can really think about which candidate do I really stand behind it. And you see in every case what they believe. You can all to go through all the questions and can see what he believes here, what he believes here, what he believes here. So you can find out your candidate. It's really open. And of course, I do it with my son, with my daughter, because it helps them to understand, just to answer the questions, it helps them to understand how what is debated in politics, what are the most important issues. And so it's very good. Sadly, it's only in German or in French. Of course, it's in French too. But see that I think it's a really good system to really include people in the system, help them, and it's not just a poster on the street, and you vote for somebody you even don't know what they believe. Or of course, the really smart people they do the things not necessarily of what they exactly believe. They really look, what do I have, which answer do I have to give that I get the most votes. I mean, all of them is done everywhere. So it's not perfect, but I think it's a good tool. So now coming to the left-right. So the difference between left-right and liberal-conservative is this. So right is coming from the Reformation. Right is not right in the sense right. Right is just the side. Right, not it's right. Also, it's coming from the Reformation, and they say as less state as possible and have a lot of responsibility. So people should take self-responsibility according to the Bible, and only when they not can do it, then the state should do it, but not less state as possible. The federalistic system that the work is done on the decisions are done on the deepest level as possible, and not here in the top they do the decision and the farmers have to do it there. So less taxes, also not too much taxes, so that somebody who is working, so he pay taxes, of course, but not too much, that he not work anymore. That he say, oh, I go to foreign country, here is too much. And so they always look that the business people can still have a good condition for work. So man have to take self-responsibility. I already say that high ethical values, they stand for high ethical values, and who is not working should not eat. Something like this is a statement from this direction. Or no debts. They say debts are not good, so we need, and we in Switzerland, we have a debt break. Let's say we have in our constitution, we cannot make more debts than that. So there is a limit. So when you don't have this in the nation, then the debt will raise. And the question is, what is for the next generation? Who will pay the debts back? And there are a lot of ideas how you can do that. We will not go in this, but they say it's not good to have this much debt. So you only can take or can buy what you have, or not more. And so it's a very good thing is looking to your nation how much debts you have, and this is really healthy or not. So the left side, on the other side, is coming from socialism, from the idea socialism is coming from atheism, Reformation is coming from Christianity. So atheism, who believe that everybody should have enough, so nobody has actually private property, everybody is shared, we all live in a community, and so on. But they exclude God as a giver of goods, so they say just nature give us, and we cannot say that's mine, otherwise you are a thief. Therefore, everybody belongs to everybody. So today, I mean, socialist, I mean, China is no more a socialist country, even they call it, and the constitution still is a socialist idea, but they are not. They are a capitalistic nation, or they are different. So, but here is the direction. Everybody should have the same, more state to control. So they always want to have more state, they control, they contribute all the goods, that everybody has the same. More taxes for the rich, so the rich should pay more taxes, that we can distribute more to the one who have less. What seems to be a good idea also from a Christian point, but it has a lot of challenges too. So in the sense, don't give people fish, help them to fish, and then teach them how to fish, that they can look for themselves. So empower people instead of make them dependent on you. So you already know when I present that on which side I'm standing. Sorry, there is no politician who is neutral. Or, I mean, everybody has a worldview, everybody believes something, and I would say I stay more on the right side. See that. Limit the free market, or they always want to have more control and not after people have more. Also, when they see rich people, they always think they did something wrong. And when you have idea of becoming richer, then this is already evil. So and so they want to limit everything, and they are not completely wrong. I mean, I think we need a balance, or then in the end. So debts are not a problem. So if you have a problem, then just make debt. And of course, you need inflation with bringing your currency down, and so you can kill the debts, or you start new, and all debts are gone. But every time so you'd say that our system in the world is not made for eternity. I mean, you know that. The finance system, and it always comes to a new start. And this is, when you look historically, it's really the case. So it's coming to a new start after 70 years or so, in general, or even before. Some countries, they do it every 7 years. But then the problem is when you have a new start, and often is a war involved in it, then a lot of people lose. And the rich people get richer and the poor people get poorer. I mean, it's not so a good idea. So raising debt is really, I would say, really dangerous. So they live so in a closed system, or we have just what we have, and then we have to distribute that. But they not think in a capitalistic way that we can produce more than we have now. So these are the main difference, and you see that when you hear them speaking in the parliament, they say one sentence, then you already know from which party they are. If they stand a bit more right, or if they stand left, or if they are from the Green Party, or you know. So the other distinction is between liberal and conservative. So liberal coming out from the French Revolution, liberty. So we all want to be free. So there is no more limitation. And this can be in, I mean, left liberal, but it can also be right liberal. So to be free, no limits, no one how tell you what to do. No one should tell you what to do, or capitalism, no limits for business. And I think this is evil because when there is no more limits, then this is not good. So yeah, I think globalization is a threat. Just open all the borders and let the money run everywhere has really problem. So, but they always work for that, or open borders, no more trading with India and free trading, no more taxes, no more border, but a lot of conflicts are coming there. Free capital market, so yeah, also in the capital, free sexual choice, or they not say, why somebody have to tell you if you can marry a homosexual or not, or it's your choice, you can do that. Then man is free, self-responsible. You don't need a law, or you can free to decide. They decided in the parliament yesterday about names in a family. So should you have only one name, or should you have two names? Or can everybody decide if you want to have first the name of the women and then the name of the man? And can the children also decide if they want to first have the name of the man, of the father, and then the name of the mother, or are different, and everybody can choose? The idea was from the left side, or everybody can choose what he wants. And also the gender, or in gender, everybody can choose if you want to be a boy or a girl. And so they always want to have freedom. But I think it's created with his name. I mean, it's not so important, but it creates a lot of confusion, a lot of identity confusion if everybody can choose what he wants and there is no more rule. So yesterday they had a debate about that in the parliament. So conservatives coming from the Catholicism, that's wrong, and the tradition, or tradition and value-oriented, strong value-oriented, they're culture-oriented, or they will hold on the culture. Man needs limit. They against they stay against homosexuality, and man and women should be a family. They stay from this conservative. First, they often are very much religious, also in a Muslim country, or they are these strong Muslims. They were conservative. They don't want to have an open society, and so on. So these are the main difference. And we should to learn to read what the people say and understand from which side they are coming. I don't say that one side is better than the others. Sometimes I say that in a lot of things. But see, we have to first understand where they are coming from, and do you have to understand by yourself where I am standing? What do I really believe? Do I really believe that we should have a free market, free capital market? Do I believe that? And what are my arguments for that? and why is it good, why is it not good. And I think don't believe something that you are convinced of before you not heard somebody had another opinion about it. Did you hear me? Don't believe something that you are convinced of before you really heard somebody who has another opinion about this issue. So we need to become wise, and just if we are convinced because it's fit to my filio, it's fit to me, and say, oh, wow, oh, it's fit. But it can absolutely wrong, because the only measurement that you have is something good or not is yourself. You feel, or that you feel good. So therefore, we have to learn. Say it again. You have to learn. Don't believe something that you are convinced of before you not hear somebody else who is against your opinion or is against this. And so we are convinced of that and say, okay, I am humble myself, listen to somebody who has another opinion and listen to his arguments. And then I have this argument, I have this argument. And when I have that, then I can start to find out what do I really believe and what is my argument. So your argument is not only I believe that, that's not the argument. And it's also not I believe that because this and this and this. Your argument should be also I believe that because I don't believe this and this and this. I believe this and this. So you need both sides. You need to know why you don't believe it, and you need to know why you believe it. This is really when you want to become equipped people, but this also belongs to church and everywhere. That this, when you want to have arguments, and we should have that as Christians, then you need to understand both sides, and you need to have this argument why you don't believe it and why you believe it. Good. And they are often then also called the fundamentalists, or they just want it this way. They say, I mean, we heard yesterday somebody who said, Israel, they are the people of God. Okay, it's a statement given in the room. But is it really like this? And what would be the consequences to believe that? And from where does he have his statement? And all of that, this would be questions for me to ask him. I will do that. I already discussed with him, so I will go on. But I think we not just can give a statement and we believe something. We really need all the arguments. And as well, we have to know why we don't believe it. Good. When you now look to your country, there are different parties. So which country have different parties? Do you have different parties in your country?
Yes.
So how many parties the US have? Mainly two. Also they have more, but really politics is done by two parties. So the others have almost no chance, and we will come to that why they have no chance. But there are some, and the only hope for America, no, I cannot say the only hope, but the hope for America is that another candidate will stand up from other party, but this will be really, really hard. But now there is the choice again between Trump and Biden. Biden will be 82 when he gets elected. And it will be a challenge. So how can he lead the country? And he already have problems with speaking and so on. But on the other side is Trump, and I don't know, is Trump really better for America? I don't know, but probably there will be another candidate. Do you know that God can intervene in this? So that Glenn Martin, the founder of the SPCW, actually, or the founder who was the idea giver, he came to Switzerland once and held a speech. And then the leader from Wow Miller, he heard him and say, we need you. We need to build a school to really receive a biblical Christian understanding. And therefore we have this school. So he's Glenn Martin, and he was advisor of President Bush in this time. So he had a lot of stories. And one story he told how God intervened in American politics. It was Reagan, Ronald Reagan. He was not a politician, he was an actor. But he came, nobody believed that, and all the research will not, it's clearly not him that he will win, but he won. And on the other side, in Russia, the same happened. Gorbachev, an actor, not a politician, became president. And he said, actually, both of them had no political experience. They came, shake their hand, and want to be nice, and the Berlin Wall fall. And he said, God initiated that. So he let someone become president who actually is not really equipped to be president, but he was the best. And through them, Gorbachev solved the Soviet Union, or he brought a collapse to the Soviet Union, and then the Berlin Wall. But see, I think, I don't know if this story is true, I heard that, but I believe God can intervene, and we never know what's happening. So, but here, let's see now the parties, how many parties China has? One, they have one, they are, and there are other countries who have only one party. But actually, several parties would be wise. Several parties would be wise.
But the Russians, they have also other parties or no?
No, they have only, do you know them? They have only one.
Yes, they have. No, they have others.
They have others, but I think
A very small number.
my actually politics is done by this one.
Really, really.
So also here we have social democrats, and what I try to look to different countries and try to bring them a bit together. They are not only from Switzerland, but normally in a republic you have the social democrats. They are coming from socialism, but they say we don't want to have the socialistic idea with violence, with revolution. So we are democrats. That means in a democratical decision we want to bring socialism, and no more by violence like the communists did, and they kill everybody who not believe that. They want to bring it with trying to reach the majority to have a vote and then to abolish the law. And so these are the social democrats. A lot of them, they don't know where they're coming from. They don't know exactly what socialism is, but they like to be in their party because they are often look for the workers, want to have justice. I mean, good reasons. I don't say that this is wrong, this party. They have a lot of good reasons, and they mainly look for the workers and not for the businesses, for the business people. So they want to have social justice and that the poor people have enough. And actually, it comes from the idea everybody should have the same. They often, normally, they want to have more state or more state control and more distribution of goods. So then the Republicans, in America, we have them. They are on the right side. They want less state. They want less taxes. They want self-responsibility. They want to abolish most of the social care system. Obamacare is one that they don't like, and so on and so on. So I would not say that that all is good what they have in mind, but they coming from the Reformation idea. We take self-responsibility, but without God, they ended in egoism, in just individualism. I want to have everything. It's what mine is mine, or this idea. So the Communist Party, they are coming from socialism, and China's call them Communistic Party of China, but actually it has nothing to do with communism anymore. Even the constitution is clear, a socialistic constitution. but they are, let's say, state capitalism, but they misuse this communistic idea just for have this strong dictatorship and control from the state. They hold on that control of the state, but they really open the market for capitalism. Good, then the Maoists, they are actually the same. In India, you have Maoists. In Nepal, there are Maoists. They are also coming from them because Mao was the president of China. Mao was the beginner of this socialistic idea in China. It was Mao. So there is also a Mao Bible. That's a booklet that Libya or so president of Libya, he had this. He was always pointing to this Mao communistic Bible. Good. Then the liberal Democrats, they want to have free market. They want to have no boundaries, that free trading, and they are often for the banks that they should have free financial market. They support the rich people, and of course some is good, but also I think a lot of them are in danger, because to open this market, to have this globalization, brought a lot of threats. Like say the human trafficking, or when you don't have borders anymore, so you cannot control the human trafficking anymore. And we have slaves here in Switzerland, sex slaves, who they brought it from Romania, from Bulgaria, India, for slave trading. They bring here. They are, I can show you next time when we drive somewhere. I can show you that there is a hotel who have this sex. There is prostitution is free in Switzerland. So, and there is a hotel here, and then the prostitutes, and all the prostitutes, I assume that they are not free here. They are came. And we know a lot of stories from them. But that's a stupid thing that Western society allowed that. And with the globalization, open market, you have even more control, even drugs, the criminals, and all of that. I mean, the mafia in Italy, we don't have a border between Italy and Switzerland. There is free. I mean, this is our all challenges, or with open the market, and then as well. I mean, when you open the market for free trading, then I think when let's say the farmer in Italy, they produce cheaper than the Swiss, they bring all the food, and the Swiss can no more sell their food because it's too expensive. And all of this, we heard yesterday we had with the MP a discussion about all these challenges. Did we? Or was it in the morning? Yeah, and then the Worker Party, they are also coming from the socialists, or they looking for the worker, they want to have the rights for the worker, they want to make control rules, and so that there is no free market, and so that the workers have their rights, and in the end they have more rights than sometimes for somebody who gives words is really a challenge, because he needs to fulfill all the regulations that in the end they leave it with employ someone. So also they are coming from the socialistic side. Then there are Christian parties, and we have Christian parties, we have it by the left side, and we have by the right side. More right and more left. But in the end, so you see, we have in our party people who are more thinking left, and we have in the left party people who are thinking more right. So we cannot categorize people. We should not do that. I always say I'm not right or left. I always make my opinion in any case. Okay. So yeah, but in general, I'm more right in the end. Yeah. And probably you know why, because the whole red side came from Christianity, from Reformation. So good, and the left side is more coming from communism and atheism. So therefore, I'm maybe more right. So then, Green Party, these are who take care of environment, but they are often also coming from the side of want to have more state, and the state should control, the state should give money for that we can change to sustainable energy and so. And of course they do good things, but they are coming also from the left side. More state, more control, and so on and so on. And then always is the question, yeah, okay, when you do this, is this still? Yesterday the MP said, or what he wished for the future is less control of the state, more freedom for the farmers, because the farmers, they are so in a box and have to follow all the rules. And this is a problem. Or the Green Party, they always make a lot of rules, but then in the end, you cannot produce anymore. So, when you produce, you use tractors, you use food, you use all the things, of course. But we need to produce. We cannot stop everything. Huh? When you sit in the office, have no idea of agriculture, so you can complain against everything, but you are eating as well. So where is the food coming from? And so this is always a debate. And there are, in Green Liberal Party, they would be green, but very open for the business, or not have too much state, but they want to change to a green economy, but that the people freely will adopt the green economy and not the state. So, and then we in Switzerland, we have also a car party, but this is, no more many people are in this party. They really stand up for cars, and also you can have parties in your country about, I don't know, Hinduist party, or party for caste system. I don't know, party for bicycles, or party for, I don't. You can find it out.
For cows.
For cows, yeah.
Really
We actually had once an initiative in Switzerland, and this is the whole world laughed about Switzerland, because we had a public voting about cows, and the voting was this: is it allowed to cut the horns of the cows or not? Because the farmers cut the horns of the cows because it's easier in a staff. That they not hurt one another, and it's also very dangerous, because then the cow can
get stuck.
And in the end, it makes no difference for the cow, beside of it looks different if a cow has horn or not. So now a farmer had the idea to say, I want to have horns by the cows, and I want to forbid that, and this should be in the constitution of Switzerland. So he started the initiative, and he get more than 100,000 signatures, and it come to a public voting, and then whole Switzerland could vote. And of course, we didn't go in this direction, but the whole world laughed when Switzerland politics make a public voting about horns of the cows, or how stupid this guy. But actually, in Switzerland, you can do that. I think not in any other country you can do something like that. So coming now to the Christians, I think for us it's very important in which party should we be. Should we go to a Christian party, or should we not? Because in a Christian party, in general, it's a small party and you don't have a lot of influence. Better you go to a big party, and then you would have more influence. But this is a big question, and I want to address that. So I think I took it from a book that he divided the Christians in four parts of Christians. He said one are the radical Christians. Yesterday we met two MPs of them. Radical Christians. The Bible is true. It say the Israel are the people of God, but I don't believe that the Bible say that. But they are mostly conservative right. But they are Christians, or they are Christians. But you are not when you believe something wrong, from my side, it's not saying that you are not a Christian. When you are a Christian, when you believe in God, and when you believe that you have obeyed God and you need Jesus Christ and you follow this direction. So, but if what you believe actually in other things, it's not really necessary. It's not making you a Christian or not. But I think when you want to play in a Super League or in a Champions League, then you can be a footballer, but you cannot be able when you not get trained for doing that. So, also they are still Christians and often they have all the good ideas, but they're standing on a radical view. Then he said that they are relevant Christians and they always try to find a compromise in society. And you can also go back to Jesus Christ. You have the same in this time. This was, do you know the people group, in the Jewish people group who would fit in this relevant Christian or relevant Jews? Do you know that from the Bible? You can observe that. They are the Sadducees. Or the Sadducees, they always ask Jesus, so give me an argument. Why is it like this? They thought in a liberal way, and they try to fit to the Greek culture and put it together with the Jewish tradition. And so the radical Christian, when they go back to Jesus, they will be the Sadducees, or the Sadducees who always want to be right, who thought they are better than the others, and they will want to hold on the laws. There was a law that says they build up a law and say you should not sit on a donkey on a Sunday on a Sabbath. And so what they did, they put a sand sack on the donkey and they sit on the sand sack, so they could rid a donkey because they not directly sat on the donkey. But this is stupid, or this has nothing to do with God. But this is just so like this follow the law. So the third would be the withdrawn Christians. And this is they separate themselves from society. And this could be Wawam. I know, but monastery would fit in that, or they not take care of society. They somewhere desert fathers, or this still exists today. And in monastery or so, I say, I don't want to debate about politics and so. And in Christian churches, they say we not go to the cinema, we not involve ourselves in politics or in business. So everything what is there is worldly and it's against God. And you know probably these Christians well, so they not really debate about that. So also them, they are Christians. I think they have some wrong beliefs. But on the other side, I think as well that sometimes you need to go back and don't stay always in society, always in this social media. It's sometimes good when you have a reflecting time and go to a monastery or so. But I think Wawam you do a school, it's in a bubble, but the bubble should help you to go out again and not to stay the whole time in the bubble. Good. And then the last is this adjusted Christian. They just follow the mainstream. And what he claimed, and they are of liberal left, because our mainstream here in Europe is liberal left. So they just follow that. And he said as well, all of them are Christians, and all of them could sometimes be on a good side and sometimes on the bad side. So we cannot say these are good and these are bad. And also at the judged Christians, sometimes you have to say, it's not my agenda. I don't care about that, because you cannot solve every problem. And sometimes it would be important that as Christians you stand up for this, but you cannot do everything. Huh? And then it's sometimes good when you just follow the mainstream or say, okay, I cannot change that in my society. I have to accept that because I cannot do everything. So he say, every of these could be good or bad. And we not distinction about that. But we have to understand this, that we not become too extreme on one side or the other side. So I don't know on which side you stand personally a bit more. So everybody has a tendency to stand somewhere. And we have to learn to embrace the others and learn from others. And probably when you stand on a relevant Christian side or always look for compromises, or then probably you have to listen to radicals and say, yeah. But sometimes we have to stand up and say, no, we don't do that. We stand, he said yesterday, oh, we are clearly stand against abortion. And sometimes you need to stay and say something more. But on the other hand, when we do the law in society, then you say, I have to accept that most of the people want to abort. And I need to find a compromise. I cannot always stay on the radical side. But only stay on the relevant side is also not good. So then you become more and more a judge. But and only just to withdraw yourself in while one in a bubble is not God's way. So once you have to come out and do something, and change something. And this would fit to every other organization or monastery or some kind of withdrawal places. Or sometimes you just have to go and you don't have to change because it's not your ministry that you change. So we have to, you get in a burnout if you try to change everything and tell you. So the idea is that we understand that different Christians, not separate them, but understand where I'm more standing on and learn to listen to one another and learn to see and to hear. And really important is this point. You have to know why you believe what you believe and be ready to give the arguments why and give the arguments why not and start to debate. And sometimes you have to say, okay, my arguments are not strong enough, they are not good, and I have to adopt a radical view or another view of a Christian. So we as Christians, we are not separating people. And this is one of the worst thing we do. We bring people together. And we should be able to bring people from different opinions together, help them to build a nation or to build an organization or do something. And we have to learn that without losing our own belief, or not just making compromises more and more. We have to stand to our belief, know what we believe and why not, stand for that and do not do a compromise. But we have to learn to do a compromise in a practical application. Okay, should we do a break? Yeah, should we do a break? Are you still with me? Yes. I hope it's not too worrying. Okay,
yeah, we're here.
Let's do a break, huh? Morning?
We're having a break.
Yeah. You can do
the number you're trying to call.
Okay.
We call it republic. Actually, we not call it direct democracy. Mostly it's called republic. And there are four distinctions: the presidential republic, a semi-presidential republic in France, or the parliamentarian republic in Germany. So the main difference would be a president. He is the only one ruler. In a semi-presidential republic, the ruling of power is separated between a president and a prime minister or something like this. And then in the parliamentarian republic means that the parliament is voting and also the power is separated. So I will show you that. Separated between a chancellor and the president. And then we have direct democracy. So we were yesterday here in the parliament, and so you received that, and we went already a lot through it. But I think it's very important to really once, as the citizens of a country, go through and try to understand your political system.
Sebastian has something to say.
Yeah, please. Sebastian, please.
Thank you, Markus. I just wanted to comment on what you said before, and I think just something that is important to realize when you try to influence society as a Christian is there is a difference when you do it as a citizen, and then you belong to the church sphere of society, and then you should be light and a prophetic voice for the society. That's clear. But when you belong to the government, then you have a slightly different position. And I think that is to be taken into account, and we need to dig into the Bible to see like when how God is really, which kind of laws and principles God is giving for each of these spheres of society. And I was just thinking about this example, like Samuel as a prophet and judge of Israel. When the people comes to him and ask for a king, as a prophet, I think he has the hat of the church sphere. He says, "This is not a good idea. I've talked with God, and I don't think this is right." But then, as a judge and government sphere of society, well, he gives them what they ask, and God says, "That's what you need to do. They want a king, give them a king." And so it's not. Yeah, I think this is something we should consider into the thinking how we want to position ourselves as Christians.
Wow, yeah, that's good, Sebastian. And actually, as you know, the Sebastian is also a politician. He's involved in the executive of a village, and he's doing a really brilliant job. Thank you, Sebastian. This is really important that we understand when we are doing politics, then we do politics for all the citizens, not just for the Christians. Then we look for the best for the country, and this is really important. Okay, let's go. Also, when you have more comments, then please let me know. But let's go back now to these four different presidential republics, or semi-presidential one. And another, what we also have in the world is then monarchies. And there are three different: an absolute monarchy, a constitutional monarchy, and the parliamentarian monarchy. So we will not go deeply in that, but an absolute monarchy is where the monarch has absolute power, and he's the one who decides everything. And there are no more so many countries in the world who have that. The constitutional monarchy is when a monarch has to hold on the constitution. A parliamentarian monarchy is when the parliament, then that it's England, I think, fit in that, where the parliament has the power, or not the monarch, and so the separation of the monarch and the prime minister parliament is there. So, but so we will not go deep in that. I have not my notes about the monarchies, and I think we go more yet now in this understanding of the systems. So here we see this is the UK. This is the UK, the system, and you find in the internet also about your system, or how does it fit together. And when you have it's visible like this, it's always good. It's make more sense than when you just have words. But sometimes not everything is on it, or it's not 100% right. But here, let's see what is the UK. They have a queen or a king, and they have the people, and the people vote for the House of Commons. So that's the parliament. And you see this yellow whatever is the executive. The blue one, also the bright blue one, is the legislative, and then the judiciary is the I don't know, is this brown? But so can you see that? So they always is separation of power of legislative, executive, and judiciary. So the executive is the one who put the laws in praxis. The legislative is the one who makes the law, and the judiciary is make sure when there is a conflict, is it right to the law or not to the law. So these ideas is almost in every country today somehow in this way. Not always function. It's not always function that the court is really appealing or have the power to appeal when there is an issue. But actually, the system is often like this. Also, they vote for the House of Commons, and then then the Queen is not voted. So it's clear the Queen. Who is the next Queen? The son of the Queen, or the princess of the whatever. So it's always in the family. Or in the bloodline or whatever, but you do not vote for the Queen. So it came out of Reformation that the reformers from Geneva, they went then to England, but also first to Holland, and Holland had the idea bringing to England, and it was the William from Oranien, the reformer of Holland, who came then to England, he had the blood of the king's family, and so he could be chosen as king, and then he as a king gave the power to the parliament, and since then this is now this is separated. It is no more absolute monarchy. So the power is by the parliament, and not by the queen or by the king anymore. But so you can see that then the queen and the parliament give say this could be the prime minister, and the queen has then to say yes or no. So she has still the power to say yes or no, but actually she cannot really be against the parliament. In general, she is not. So it's actually parliament who will then choose the prime minister, and the prime minister then choose his cabinet. Or and so on. I will not go in the deep thing. There is also, they have the House of Lords, and they have spiritual lords. They are not voted by the community. They are, as far as I know, they have a voting system in the church. Who is the spiritual leader, and they will be direct into. So it's like similar to the Catholic Church with so. But I don't know all the details here. So, and of course, the Supreme Court, it's also in the Parliament have show them what is the best, and then the king always appointed them. So actually, the power is separated. It's not just on one side. So the queen actually can hinder evil, but not really do decisions in this sense. So, but this is a separation of power. The queen control always that the prime minister or parliament is not doing evil things. But she cannot bring a law, she cannot make a law or something like that. So look this here now. This would then be the US, or it's a presidential republic. And that means the president has all the power. You see that the election system is very complicated, but you see here that they have a federal state, as the states, the cantons, like in Switzerland, where the people vote for the governors and vote for the parliament, and also the state court is then chosen by the parliament. But on the other side, you see in the national day, people, they vote then for the House of Representatives and the Senate, and then they vote directly over electors. That's a bit a complicated thing, how they elect. They first vote for electors, and then the electors vote direct the president and the vice president. And you see, the president he has all the power. Actually, he is looking for the cabinet. He can choose. Has the main power of the army and the executive office, and as well the Supreme Court. So the power is not divided there. So the power is actually all centralized in the president, and the vice president. He's here in the legislative, and this when the president would die or something like this, then the vice president would become president, and then he would be chopped over to the executive. So, but this is something that you can study by your own country. Here, the next one would be the French. They are a semi-presidential republic. Yeah, I mean, it's divided. The people, they vote directly the president of the country. That's Macron, and he has a lot of power. But actually, all the business is done by the prime minister, and the prime minister is then coming out of the National Assembly, also the parliament. And so it's divided. Can you see that? So the power is also there divided. The president, actually, he's more the representative of the country, but he's not the lawgiver. He cannot make the law. But in France, he have a lot to say. In Germany, it's different. President, nobody knows the president. He actually, the big man, the big wife is the chancellor and not the president. But in France, it's also cultural or so. So because everybody knows Macron, but probably you don't know the president. When it goes to Germany, everybody knows who is the chancellor. No more. No. But nobody knows the president. It's
Yeah, I knew Angela, but now I don't.
Yeah. She's German, no? French.
Yeah.
No, she's German.
Yeah.
So in let's say then in Germany, or the chancellor and the president, and also here is now the parliamentarian. How do you say parliamentarian republic? So now I have to. You see that the parliament is voting then for the chancellor, not the people directly. The chancellor is then putting the cabinet together, and so the president is also is voted from indirectly from the parliament. But the separation, the president in Germany is clear. President is the one who presents the country, but the business is done by the chancellor, and yeah. But also here there is a separation of power. Yeah, I don't explain now the whole thing, but I hope you get a bit an understanding of it. So the Russian system, what do you think? What is the Russian? What kind of republic is the Russian system? It is a presidential republic, or because also the people, they vote directly for the president, and then the president is in the State Duma. It's also from both sides, but actually he has a lot of power, and then he is for the prime minister, the ministers, the council of ministers, the whole army. So he has the power of everything. So power is in that sense here not separated. It's really centralized by the president. So yeah, you can look a bit closer to it. There is more to discover.
But no judiciary for Russia? Judiciary? Judiciary?
Judiciary, yeah, they have one, but it's not on this here. Huh? Yeah, but it's also that the president is then the main of that, so he controls everything, like in America. So in America, the president is appointing the Supreme Court, and they are in power until they die. So when the president and the Democrats will lose and the Republicans will come, it cannot replace it. They can only replace when they die. So therefore, in the moment, it's really on the Republican side or the whole court, because Biden cannot replace it. So in Russia, I don't know exactly how they did that. And then we have the Swiss idea. Also, you see the executive, legislative, and judiciary. So the people vote for the legislative, and so the legislative then vote for the councillors, the 7 councillors, and as well for the judiciary. So it's, and of course, we heard that yesterday, the citizens are the supreme one. We always can intervene when we want to be against the parliament. So actually, we are the one who elect the executive or the parliament. And so. But I think it's a very, very good system. I already talked a lot about that. You know. So it's just a joke. Yeah. I hope you get it. I mean, direct democracy means we are guilty for it. We did the law. It's actually we as a people. So one thing, a distinction is between minority voting and proportional voting. And you can also then find out in your assignments about your country how they do it. But majority voting is the one who has more will win. And this is the problem in America. Or so you need a certain amount of votes that you even have a chance to come in the parliament, or because it's in the state, just the one who have more will win. But here we have a proportional voting here in Switzerland for the parliament. That means first, and when we are a little party, or we heard that yesterday, or we are a little party, and each of us has not enough votes for come into the parliament. But together we have enough, and therefore first you count the votes for the whole party, and therefore the party gets a seat, and the best of the party can then go in. But when we have a majority voting, when this would be just that, then the little party would never have a chance to grow or to come into parliament, because they would not have, when you are not so famous and so, then you would not have enough votes for coming in. So it's very, very good that you have this proportional voting, that not someone get all. So you can now look in your country how this will be done, and then you know if it is wise. Is it possible that little parties can also have a voice to say, or it's only the big one can win? And then I think it's not good. When only the big one can win, then the small one will go down and down and down, and less to say, and the big one will win, and in the end you have only one or two who are really big, and the rest has no opportunity. And therefore, a lot of countries have this proportional voting. You can find out. Another thing is we have. So we talk about constitutional law state. So what is a constitutional state? Is somebody who has a constitution on human rights, and it is a functional system. So you can now, there is an index also who say that if your country is really a constitutional state or not, because it can be that you have a democratical system, that everything is clear but it's not functioning, then you would not fit in this category. So when the international community speak about the constitutional state, they mean that. And so you can also research that for your country. So And also we have international laws. We have not just national laws. We have also international laws. And here you see, the UN is one. All of the countries are part of the UN. You don't have to research that because you are a member of the UN if you not belong to the Vatican State. And what I guess you will not. Yeah, and there is a UN Charter, and you can also have a look in UN Charter. The main goal of a UN Charter is to have world peace, and there is every state is sovereign, and it's not allowed that another country conquer another country, and also it's not allowed to intervene in internal affairs. What America did a lot, but see, that's the international law. So you can see that in the UN Charter. There is also the UN support is human rights, and there is a Human Rights Council. It's also located in Geneva, and they have the human rights, and everybody has to hold on the human rights. And if you have time, you can also once look to these human rights. They are not so many. It's not so big, this article. I don't know exactly how many articles they have. Right? And then another thing is WHO, that's the World Health Organization. It also belongs to the UN. The headquarters is also in Geneva. And so we, as a nation, have to adapt to also the standards of health issues. And this is always could be a challenge as well, because the nations have the law and they have to obey all of that, but they are no more sovereign, and they just have to obey. Do you see this conflict? So then the NATO, probably heard about the NATO. I think Costa Rica is belonging to NATO, does it? No.
No. It has to be a big and rich country.
Okay, but NATO is this North Atlantic Treaty Organization. I mean, mainly America and some South American nations and Europe.
Yeah.
It was
the United
built.
States and Canada is the only one.
Yeah, it's built up against the Soviet Union in general. It came in after the war, standing for that, and so yeah, when you belong to that, then there are certain rules. One rule is that you need to have enough weapons, that you have to spend certain amount in your military budget, and so on. And then Trump said clearly, I will not support nations anymore who not hold on this financial commitment. Then the World Trade Organization, that's also in Geneva, and that's the world. That's they make regulations for trading on. So you need to hold on a certain circumstances. Then the Geneva Convention, we went to the room where this was signed. It also has to do with human rights, and especially it has to do with what Israel is doing now in Palestine. I think it's not according to the Geneva Convention, so they break the Geneva Convention. Then the European Union in Europe, so Switzerland don't belong to the European Union, and all the countries around belong to it. But this is also a danger, what we heard yesterday. I mean, the union makes laws and we have to adopt it, but we are no more free, we are no more sovereign, and also this is tension. So Schengen probably is just something, is a treaty between the EU and Switzerland that you can travel when you have a visa for Switzerland, you can travel in whole Europe. So, and OECD, probably OECD, probably heard about that, the Organization for Economic and Cooperation and Development. So they will also give standard that we have to hold on. And there are international, but there are also bilateral agreements only between two countries for trading or for visas or for taxes and so on. So as a country, we cannot just look to our law, the this, so we need to have an understanding of these international laws, of where do we have to fit in and how does it fit together with all these things that's going around us. So you can also, here it's also written which international organization we, here in Switzerland, we are most trading with. But you can also then see that in your country, there is African Union, or I think you belong to the African Union.
African Union in West African.
Yeah, and the West African, and there West African, you have a currency exchange, or you have this fixed currency exchange, but I think it's not good. But anyway, so you have to look to these things, and yeah, you know. So please have a look when you study that, and you now do your research, and what kind of international treaties do you have, and where to which organization you belong. One really important thing is to look at the finances. So we see that here are the income and here are the outcome. This is, we spent 81 billion, or we spent it in 2002, mainly because of Corona, and we received 77 billion. So what does it mean in the end? You have a debt. Yeah, your debt will rise of 4 billion. Huh? And so this is really important in your county. Look, what is happening? Do you do a deficit? Do you do a profit? And I think you all do a deficit. In the moment, counties go like this. And in Corona, we didn't do a deficit before Corona, but after, since Corona, we do always a deficit. And this is a danger because just to have too much debt will not help. But this is a good study about your county to think about that. And then you can look here on the left side, you see the income as a federal taxes, then value taxes, also for you have to pay taxes on your values that you have, the house, and so on. And then mineral oil, also on oil we have to pay taxes, and then withholding taxes, stamp duty, tobacco taxes, and so on and so on. You see how the income is coming in. And this you can also see that in your country. And on the other side you see where we spend the most of the money, and this is for social welfare. And probably it's not in Africa, but here we spend a lot of social welfare, and always increase this social welfare cost us a lot of money, and I don't know, is this really a good thing? The financial and taxation, finances and taxation, transport, education, security, foreign relationships, agriculture, economy. Yeah, so you can see, but these are dates. You have to know as a politician about your country. This is some things that guide you. And so you have no time to study and this too. So, and what is also a good thing to study about is what is with your export. Here at Switzerland again, and you see here we export 382 billion, and we import the 341. So what does it mean? What does it mean then? What does it say?
You import more than you.
41. Profit, 41 billion.
So we import less, or we export more. Let's say we do a profit. And this is the key. Please have a look in Africa. This is one of the main problems. A lot of African nations, they have they have a lot of resources, but instead of making more value, giving more value to the resource, you sell your resources. But the point is, what I believe would make a nation rich is when you produce more value. That's the godly way. Not just sell your resources, produce more value. What Switzerland is doing, we have no resources, we sell the resources, we add value to them, and then we sell it again. Huh? So therefore, we make a lot of more value in our country, even we don't have resources. So it's not depending on the resources, it's depending to create more value. So, and this is, please, my African friends, listen carefully to that. It's really important that you have a plus there, because otherwise, in your budget, there is always a minus, and then you need some external, like in agriculture, say you don't need external, so you try that the land can produce it by itself. So produce it by yourself. Otherwise, it's always external aid has to come to fulfill the gap. So this is very important. Build industries in Africa and create products out of your resources. Like you have bananas, then you can try bananas and sell bananas. Or you have, let's say, in Nigeria, it was so interesting. But last year, Nigeria had not enough oil, even it is the biggest oil deliverer in Africa. But the problem was this, or they don't have a refinery for making benzene out of oil or diesel out of oil. So they have to export it, and then they have to import it and pay more. Then they have to export it, of course, because others created more value to it, so they pay actually more to it instead of doing it by themselves. Now they opened the biggest refinery of oil in Nigeria last year, so I think they solved the problem again. But see, this is what we have to consider. It's very important for politicians to understand that. So you can see here, of course, the most we go to Germany, then to US. As imports, we have Germany, US, and so on. But then you can also look to which country we treating the most, to which country we export the most, and then you can consider, do we have good conditions with this country? And so when you look here to, let's say, to Turkey, export to Turkey is not so big, then we would first make a treaty with the US, then with Turkey. So this is the politicians, you have to understand that. Good. So I just, my last thing to just say about the communistic manifesto, about socialism, I said a lot about that. But just to see what is in their, as it is not a constitution, what is in their foundation, are their values. So, and also when you go in the Chinese constitution, please read the preamble, then you find a lot of them in China. So the abolition of property as first condition. Second condition, abolition of inheritance law. Also that means you cannot inherit something to your children. And that means it always starts by zero again. But I think it's very bad. And our social parties, they want to always bring limits on this and so. And then removal of the property of all rebels and immigrants. Remove the property of all rebels. That means kill them, you can steal them. Nobody has the right to say that's mine. When somebody do it, he is a thief, and you are legitimated to steal that. So centralization of the credit in the hands of the state, and we have to think really about this. And by the National Bank with state capital and exclusive monopoly, also that they decide everything is decision by the state. We have a central bank, but our central bank normally is independent of the government. So this is really important.
Really?
You can look if is your central bank, national bank, really independent. But when they are independent, then it's also another danger. And that it's really private. It's not private, but in a sense, it's also private. And there's a lot of discussion. But I mean, the money is a lot of things that we have to think about. But the independency of a central bank is very important. So you can find out. The most important is the abolition of bourgeois families, as the families with children. So they say next one, replacing social education with place of domestic education. Also, it's so that the families should not educate their children anymore, because when they do that, then one have more, they profit more because the parents are smarter and others not, and therefore it's injustice. So we have to take all the children away from the families and make it for all equal. And actually destroy this bourgeois family of man and wife, this idea of liberty, and you are responsible for the children, that family is a social construct for helping one another, stay for one another. So they just want to have individuals, and everybody stay for in front of the state, and only in this case we would have freedom, or it's a legal state. So the next one, 7, the working class has to destroy all previous privacy. Yeah, so that now they have the limitation to destroy all the private properties. We allowed the more or less hidden civil war. I mean, in the end, they believe that they will not give it for free, so therefore we have to create a war that we really can make this transition. And this is what the Social Democrats say, no, this 8-point, we don't want it. We will do it in a democratical way and not in a civil war. But actually, just that you have a better understanding, you can also download this communistic manifesto from the internet. You don't find these points. This is what I took out. There are many, many others. And I think these are one of the most important. Yeah, and we can leave that. Good. I think I finish here. So thank you very much for listening. I hope this helped you a bit to become more, when you are now interested in politics, that you help. Today I want to help you, that you have more an understanding of systems and things. And I hope that you now get and start to discuss, to research, to find out more about that. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. How does it, why are we rich? Why are we not rich? How does our nation function? What are the laws? And so on and so on. So I want to encourage you, and I want to set you free, that you now can go and reform your country.